Women host music by women, women guests like Hellen Tolbert. Welcome back to Double O Direct.
Thank you so much, Olivia, for having me back.
I can't believe that the time, people say as you age, time moves faster, but we've just also been so busy. 2022 was a year.
It was a rush. It was not a year. It was a big, big rush.
So before we get into the brand, let's understand the woman. Who is Hellen Tolbert?
Hellen Tolbert is your regular girl next door. Grew up, brought up in Maringo, Islands. So I would say, in Sheng, we would say Demomta.
Yeah.
I'm your regular girl, went to St. Patrick's Primary School. Then later on, I also schooled in Homa Bay Primary.
Yes. So you lived in Homa Bay for some time?
I lived in Homa Bay for some time. My entire lower primary up to around class 7. Then came back to Nairobi, did my class 8. Then went back to Nyakach, Rai Girls High School.
Yes.
So that's where I did my secondary school, and then came back to Nairobi, multimedia college, and then worked for the post office, worked for Java Coffee House, washed a few dishes there, and then went to the post office. Then from the post office now ventured into design. So that's
Growing
me in
up,
a nutshell.
And it's fascinating because I see you've had a lot of travel. Growing up, the question is, was entrepreneurship ever in your world? Were there any entrepreneurs you thought, that person runs that business, whether it's a kiosk, whether it's selling, maembe with lemon and chili and salt? Like, were there business people around you that inspired you to think one day I want to run a business?
Let me tell you something, Olivia. They say necessity is the mother of all invention. I come from a very big family. We are 16 children.
Wait. And no. We're going to pause. We're going to pause that. 16 children?
Yes, 16.
And you are number?
Number 10.
Wow.
I'm number 10, proudly.
So you're very, very, very much a middle child.
Very much a middle child. But not spoiled.
Not
the way middle children are spoiled. I'm not spoiled at all.
I hear last ones, the ones who are spoiled. Yeah?
Our last ones are. You should see our last one. You should see our last one.
Okay, so you grew up in a very, very large family.
Very large and competitive. So everything you want, you have to fight for.
Yes.
I remember when we were young, during meal times, and they would say food is ready. If you're not there within a minute,
yes,
then you'd have to stay hungry. That's how bad it was.
First come, first served.
First come, first served.
Okay. Moving from Homa Bay to Nairobi to sit your Class 8 exams is a big transition.
It was a big one. Of course, the culture shock. My Swahili was not that good because I had like that Luo accent, like unaenda wapi? Unafanya nini? So
unataka nini hapa?
Yes, preparing for your exam, dealing with your accent, kids bullying you because of your accent. It was. I had to really fight to emerge one of the top students in the school.
Then going back to high school
in Nyakach, yes, back to
how was that?
The same setting again. This really hit me because it was the first time I was now going away from my family. I was in a boarding school. The first time I was staying, when I was in primary, I was staying with a relative. Now in secondary, I had to go into a boarding school, shave my hair, all those changes.
Yes.
And as a teenager, sometimes you think like maybe they don't love me that much because they sent me away when I was a baby, and then now they're sending me away again now that I'm going to secondary school and I have to shave my hair. So I withdrew a little bit. I think I found myself back after high school.
Those 4 years in high school, being out of Nairobi, being, in a boarding school, what was young Hellen thinking about life after high school? What was she going to sleep in the evenings wondering about, or waking up in the mornings having dreamt about?
Olivia, you're sitting in my chair. I always thought I was going to be a journalist or something.
Let me tell you. There are several chairs here, right? And sometimes, like I told Anita, I just need a break, So you're continue.
I always dreamt of being a journalist. I used to work so hard on my English, and I have this heavy voice. My voice is really heavy, and my dad and I were convinced that somehow I was going to be a journalist, but at the same time, I'm very argumentative in a good way, not in a bad way. So there's also a part of me that thought that I was going to be a lawyer. So I also worked on that.
Yes.
But surprisingly, one of my favorite subjects back in high school was business education, and then later on in college I did economics and business administration. So I didn't see that business part kicking in and being like the rest of my life, but I loved it somehow when I was in school.
Left high school, went to college. What did you major in college?
Business administration, economics.
Left that to then wash dishes at Java?
That was my first job, and I was like, I'll do anything to get away from home. You know, growing up in a big family, you yearn for your space, you long for your own space, and because you're always sharing a bedroom, you're always sharing living room, toilets and everything. So I really wanted to be out of that house, not in a bad way, not that anything wrong was going on there, but I wanted to have my own space. So when the first job presented itself, it was dishwashing and cleaning toilets at Java, I took it.
Were there any mentors that said, yes, you have a degree, yes, you studied business, yes, you studied economics. However, it's really important to get work experience. And even though they're offering you a dishwasher position, right, it's a position in a company that's known, that is recognized. Was there a mentor who steered you in that direction in addition to wanting to leave the home? And secondly, is there advice that you can give what we call the youth of today?
I didn't really have a mentor. I won't sit here and lie and say I had a mentor. The only thing that pushed me was my desire to become something better, something greater. You know, those of you look back at where you've come from and you're sure you're never going back there, or you don't want your children or your child to ever look back and be in the same spot that you were when you're growing up. So that was the only driving force. You look back and you're like, I'm going to do everything humanly possible, of course dignifying, to make it in life.
Tolbert, the brand Hellen_design_. Why did you drop the H?
I wanted something that would live beyond me.
Okay.
I have a son.
Yes.
So if he was to take over the company, his name is not Hellen. But Hellen as a brand on its own would be timeless.
I love that. I absolutely love it. So we understood where you came from, the struggles, the drive, the passion, the need to be an entrepreneur, the education. Tell me now how you bridged the gap between working at the post office and developing Hellen Design.
Now, when I was working at the post office, the pay was not that much. I was earning around 25,000 per month, and we all know how that's hard to live by. So I had to, like, always during my breaks, find something to sell here and there to try and make up for bus fare, food, money, and all that. So in the process, I found myself in Kikomba Market during my lunch breaks. I was in Ronangala, not police station, sorry. Don't ask why police station comes so easy. I was in Ronangala post office. And so going to Kikomba was just like a few minutes walk, drive down there. So I would go over lunchtime, pick some things, come and try and turn them into something fancy and resell.
Were you also doing your own personal shopping through Vintage, going to Kikomba and getting your own clothes?
Yes.
So you are familiar with it. It's not like you just started going there because you wanted to have a business. So you'd been going there, picking a few things. People are saying, Hellen, today you look smart.
You know what? The most interesting part is that my dad had 2 wives.
Yes.
And both of them were tailors.
Okay.
So I grew up around tailoring.
Yes.
Both my moms were tailors, and tailoring was something that we were so familiar with.
Yes.
And my mom would come home with dresses that won't fit, and she'll be like, Ebu kuja hapa. And you know, she tries to fit you and nips it here and there, and finally you have a dress. We didn't love them back then because everybody was getting these nice tutu dresses from the shops, and we were being dressed up in, secondhand clothes that had been nipped here and there. But as I grew up, I started to appreciate them because they were unique. It's something you walk in with, and nobody else has it. So that feeling later on as I grew up, I learned and loved and cherished. So I started turning my pieces, getting pieces from Kikomba, changing a few things, maybe the collar, maybe the waistline, maybe the length. And then people started getting interested, and I would do it for other people for money.
Wow.
So when the money was more than the salary.
Yes.
That's when the whole table turned.
I'm very interested about how long after, of course, the side hustle became the main hustle, right? Or the main business. Did you then decide to formalize, legalize, lipa ushuru? You know what I mean? So because it happens to every small business at some point, you know, you make that transition, then now you have to sort everything out, get an account, you know, get a PIN, get all of that, start paying your taxes. What was that transition period like? Was it a year, 6?
Luckily for me, I was already paying ushuru because I was working in a government organization. So one of the requirements is that you have a PIN, you pay your NHIF, NSSF, and all those things. So when I transitioned from that into business, I was already doing that. So the only challenge I met was raising capital. Remember, I felt like I was making a lot because I had a job that was also supplementing this business. But now here's a case where I'm not supplementing anything. This is the main thing. It has to pay the shop. It has to. So I did a couple of things. I was still going to Kikomba. I was farming tomatoes in a place called Kimana. I was going to Uganda to get like those first hand. They were slightly cheaper than they are here. I was like a jack of all trades. I would go to Dubois, they call it Dubois. I would go to Dubois, get a few makeup and, you know, those small things, patch, clutch bags and stuff, and put them in the shop. So I was doing almost everything to try and raise capital. But then business is different from employment, and the paperwork needed is different from the paperwork needed in employment. So I had to go through that process whereby now you legalize the business, have a business name, have it registered, start paying taxes the right way, you know, and all that.
Was there anybody who stands out in that legalization process that helped you transition? Because you're told, just do it. Or now we're lucky with e-citizen and a lot of the streamlined, you know, services from the government. But at that time, and give me a time period about roughly when was that in years? Like, was it 2 years ago, 5 years ago? Was there anybody who stands out, even if it was a parent or an uncle, that helped you guide or navigate that?
I remember that was like more than 5 years, 6, 7 years ago. I wanted to land a certain job, and I thought it was easy as you having good workmanship.
Yes.
And that's it. Then I'm told you need A, B, C, D, and I'm looking at myself, I have none of those. My business is not registered. We don't pay VAT. We don't do this and that. And I was told, because of that, you cannot land yourself this job. And it was a big deal. And from that, I learned.
Was it like a tender? Was it like
it was a tender? It was a tender with one of the biggest organizations in the government.
Yes.
And it was going to be a life-changing opportunity for me and the business and the brand. And so after missing out on that, I was like, the next one, I'm going to get it, because I was still within that frame of, you know, when you are youth, you are. It's more favorable. Persons with disability, it's
women.
Women and all that. So I was still under that youth docket. Don't ask how old I am. I was still under that youth docket, and I didn't want to miss out on that chance. So that was really the driving force behind me legalizing the business and having all the paperwork right.
I'm Olivia Otieno. This is 00 Direct. I am having the best time with my woman in fashion today. You want to be my woman in fashion? Reach out on the gram. Direct message me. Yeah? Direct message me. It's called DM. I want to know why you want to dress me, what your brand is all about, what you are all about. My handle is just my name, OLIVIAOTIENO, Olivia Otieno. I'm with today's woman in fashion. Her name is Hellen Tolbert, and her brand is called Ellen Design. On the gram, you'll find Ellen_design_. We've gone through this transition of you having a side business, making it your main business, and then now formalizing it legally with an accountant, with the tax work, with, you know, formal business plan. So when it comes to the actual brand, give me an understanding of what somebody can expect from Ellen Design.
Ellen has gone global, and that has been my dream ever since. When I started the business, I just wanted to do business and put food on the table, have money. But then as I grew, I realized that there's more to it. You want to reach out to more people. You want to become global. So when I hit global, when I see my orders going all the way to Australia, Canada, the UK, the US, I mean, it's so fulfilling, so refreshing. And I would wish that for anybody, for their markets to open up, the doors to open up to the outside market, to experience what it's like to compete on the same platform with other designers from out there.
Who are the women purchasing Hellen designs and making them global? Who are these women? Are they women who come to Nairobi or come to Kenya? Are they on holiday? Are they living here? Are they then finding you online? Who are these women who are making Hellen Design global?
Olivia, let me tell you, the internet has made the world such a small space. And if you use it well, then you are going to hit it.
Yes.
So most of my purchases that have gone global are purely from online. So what you do with your online space determines where your brand will go. So I would encourage any entrepreneur, any person starting their business to concentrate more on the internet and put professional photos out there. I don't know if you've noted of late, if it's not so professional, I'd rather wait and not post.
Yes.
Because it's only the professional photos that will bring out your work and show it in the way it deserves to be shown.
I like that. And this year for International Women's Day, the theme was digital technology and innovation for gender equality. And I think online, in the digital space, women can truly be equal.
And we need to embrace digital growth. We need to embrace that as women. For the longest time, the digital space was left for the man. And women need to learn and embrace and know that this is the most powerful tool right now. And if we are able to influence so much as women, what if we take onto this tool and add it onto our, the different resources that we already have?
With regards to your designs, traditionally, designers have seasons where, spring, summer, winter. We don't have seasons like that here in Kenya. We have rainy season and then dry season. But to understand your process as a designer and how your output, are all the garments custom? Do you have ready to wear? Tell me about where you stand on that and how often you release looks.
First of all, I was an occasional wear designer, still am an occasional wear designer, but then I saw the need because every time I would get people asking me can I get this in the shortest time? How long will it take this? Or I'm traveling out of the country tomorrow and I really wanted this piece. So there are those pieces that I've rolled out into my ready-to-wear collection so that they're always there for anybody who, especially the jackets, because people love my jackets. My first piece was a jacket when I started the business. So I've grown into making different jacket designs for different body types, and that really sells well. So you'll readily find my jackets in my ready-to-wear collection. I have a ready-to-wear store in Kiambu Road. It's called Empire Arcade in Dindigwa.
Yes.
And then now we have the bespoke collection,
yes,
whereby you walk in, we talk about what you want, if you have an occasion, what's the occasion, what is the theme, what fabrics would work well for this design, and we go through the whole process and we come up with something unique. If you go through my page, you'll notice that almost every client has a unique design.
I've noticed that. Isn't that very labor intensive? Isn't that very time consuming?
It is, but very satisfying as well. Just think of it. If you're a woman, if you're to make a baby every day.
That is extreme. But then again, you do come from a family of 16 children. Yeah. So I'm not gonna argue that with you at all. But what are the plans with regards to some of your greatest highlights? You've already mentioned that seeing your designs worn by women across the globe has been an amazing feat for you. But where is Hellen Design going? And in particular, from the highlights that you've had, from those specific wins?
Let me tell you something, Olivia. Just last week, I had a vision that I could see myself in New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And then a client walked in from New York. And she tried one of my jackets, the exact one you're wearing. Mm-hmm. She found it on a dummy in the store. Yes. And she was like, I love this. Mm-hmm. And she was like, Helen, would you want to go for New York Fashion Week? I was like, get out of here. That's exactly what I'm thinking and dreaming of right now.
Yes.
And she told me, I'll help you work on it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. A woman host, music by women, and only women guests. Like the lady who was responsible for this amazing coat, the finishing. Can't even get into the finishing enough. What I've been experiencing a lot with women in fashion is that finishing is so integral, right? And apart from the fashionpreneurs, because I do have fashionpreneurs, I have designers, I have stylists. Fashionpreneurs, they're not responsible for the making of the garment, right?
Most of them are not.
They're not responsible for it. They source, they white label, maybe, they're not responsible for that. But when you call yourself a designer, you really need to work on the finishing, because someone will be cheated in their mind if they spend 1,000 shillings on something that's not well finished. But someone will feel proud if they spend even 30,000 shillings on something that's well finished. Yeah. It will last and last and last. So tell me about the fabrics you work with. Tell me about this specific jacket, right? And, how long it took to create, the inspiration behind it, and how to care for it, because now it's my jacket.
One thing I love about my brand is this, and what we are known for is our finishes and the touch that we give. I'd rather turn you down than take your order and rush through it and do a shoddy job. I'm sure you've come into contact with a couple of my pieces, not just this one, not just the other one. You've come into contact with my pieces, and you can tell that I work so hard to hide my seams.
Yes.
To give you meticulous cuts and curves. Like the curves fall into the right places. The cuts are neat, almost machine cut.
Yes.
We do machine cuts for our, it's not the freehand scissors and all that. We do patterns to make sure that the shoulders fall in the right place.
Yes.
This collar and the next collar are going to be, I'm wearing a jacket too, and you can tell that the way this collar sits is the way your collar sits.
Yes.
The way the pockets lie flat is the way and the stitching. I love my stitches on a straight line.
Yes.
Same interval, same sizes. I'm OCD. And if it's not like that, it's not going out of the shop.
What you're describing is how I like my eyebrows. Because Jesus,
not the Nike
my prayer.
Shape.
That evenness, that meticulousness. And I have come into contact with several of your pieces, and what I can say is that the finishing is very good. The design is very good. The styles are timeless. I like the lining. The linings are good. The pockets are perfect depth. Price points, on average, when you think about the different styles of coats that you make, right? Give me a range.
One thing, Olivia, people think that when it's well done, then it's too expensive. I would like to wash that away and encourage other designers in the industry. Get accustomed to giving people quality.
Yes.
It doesn't matter, like you said, if somebody's spending 1,000 or 10,000 or 20,000.
Yes.
Money is money. So once money exchange hands, give quality. And that's my motto. If I say I'm going to sell this to you at 3,000, it's still going to look excellent.
So it's on a case-by-case basis, depending on the fabric you use, the style design, it takes, etc.
Yes.
All right. How can we get in touch with you? Which is the best way to experience Hellen Design?
We have a website. We have a link on our Instagram page. Our Instagram page is Hellen_design_, which you've been doing. So you've been telling us so well.
So you respond. If I contact you on Instagram, Hellen_design_, there'll be a response.
We also have a phone number on that same Instagram platform. We have 2 phone numbers.
So the best thing is to go to Instagram. You'll get the website, you'll get the messaging, you'll get the phone numbers, you'll get the physical location?
Yes, the physical location is also pinned on Instagram.
Do you advise that customers take their own measurements and send to you, or to come to you to be measured?
There's several factors we consider before we say we advise. Yes, of course, we would advise that you come to us. But if you're out of the country, then there's a template that we have that we've proven, and it has worked with so many of our clients who are abroad. So we can send you that template, and if you can religiously follow it, then you're able to give us your accurate measurements. So yes, it's important that you come, and no, it's not a must.
With regards to timelines, especially for those out of the country, I know all my friends are going to be like, Olivia, I want that coat. So with regards to these, my friends abroad network, if they want a jacket like this, different shape, different heights, from the minute they send you their measurements based on that template that you've outlined, to you being able to ship it, air freight, right? What's the timeline usually? What's the turnover time?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay. So within a month, they have it?
Within a month, they have it. Because I'm big on timelines also. Just as big as I am on the finishes, I'm also big on my timelines. And like I said, if I can't beat it, I will let you know.
I love that. Any parting words maybe for young women, because we're not going to talk about our age, aspiring?
I'm young at heart.
Yes, we are both young at heart, very well, to get into the industry. Any words of advice or any learnings that you can share?
The market, first of all, Olivia, is too big for me to be able to serve everybody. So the more, the merrier. I would love to mentor. I hope that I come back and talk about that later on, because I want to start a mentorship program specifically for women, because I want to empower women. I want to see people get to where I am and even become better. I mean, if I'm not here one day, somebody else should be able to do the jacket. You understand? So I don't want to be the only one doing the jackets or the only one known for the jackets. I want to pass it on. I want to give it out to somebody. So I would tell women to embrace each other. Let's hold each other's hands. Let's be our own strength. Let's form a strong bond, a strong circle that nobody else can break, to see us going to the top. And yes, we can do it together. You don't have to do it alone. And I feel like when we do it together, we are stronger, we make more impact. So women, come on, let's do it together. Let's not fight each other. Let's, pull together, because we are different. We have different strengths. If you come with your strength and so-and-so comes with their strength and I come with my strength, and we give these wonderful products and we're able to share like runway shows, I mean, it would be a beautiful, beautiful experience. I can't wait.
The name is Hellen Tolbert. The brand Ellen_design_. Once again, the name Hellen Tolbert. The brand Ellen_design_. Reach out to her. Find her on the Instagram. Thank you so much for having been my woman in fashion today.
You're welcome, Olivia. Looking forward to the next one.